self-discipline is overrated but necessary until it is no longer necessary. Much like a crutch. Let's say you get in an accident and you're limping and you get a crutch to get around. I remember my brother had a crutch when he injured his thigh. And I think he used it for a good 4 weeks and then he stopped using it because he no longer needs it. It would be really silly to use the crutch once you no longer need it, unless you're trying to pull a George Costanza and you're trying to fool your boss into thinking you have a handicap so you can get your own bathroom. So if you want to pull a George Costanza, be my guest. Other than that, it's just pure silliness to carry out a crutch when you don't need it. In fact, it's a burden now. You could walk. You're carrying this big thing, this clumsy thing. It's an obstruction. It's unnecessary. So let me explain here. If I am somebody who is overweight, somebody who essentially doesn't have his or her shit together in life, and I have been binge eating, I have been binge fabbing, I have been binge watching TV, I have been really lazy and procrastinating, and I feel depressed. What I need to hear at this point is that I need to discipline myself. And so one extreme measure calls for another one. So if I'm extremely lethargic, if I have extremely no self-control and I'm sort of being driven by all these external things like food and porn and TV and people's opinions, etc., desperate times call for desperate measures. So I need a desperate measure, and the desperate measure and the message that I need to hear at this point in my evolution is that I need to have self-discipline, is I really need to go into my head, I really need to go into my mind, and I need to set rules in there and follow them and resist my urges and resist my desires and resist in order for me to transcend them. And that would be a very appropriate thing to do and message to hear at that point in someone's life. And I certainly have been through that. I was in the early stages, I was chubby. I was chubby between ages 10 and 13. And I really needed to discipline myself. And that's the message that I heard, and that's the message I carried. I have largely led a disciplined life. I would say all throughout my early 20s, a largely disciplined life. I mean, very disciplined, very, very disciplined. And I was sort of a soldier, a warrior in all, probably any time between age like 22 and or like 21 and 26. Yeah, about 26. I started to loosen up on all the rules when I started taking psychedelics. So, but I was disciplined. I was a soldier. I was going to the gym almost every day, and I had this big, body and this really, badass body and, like a persona. And I was disciplined in making videos. I was making videos, on my fitness channel, even though I didn't want to make them. But I was making them every day, and then the channel ended up taking off because of the discipline, even though I didn't want to make the videos. But I disciplined. I said, well, I'm gonna be pumping 1 to 2 videos a day, and I would be tired, and I would make the videos, and I would just sort of discipline myself. I would get my ass to the gym, no matter what, no matter how tired I am. I'd wake up at a certain time. I'd be in bed at a certain time. Very much living like a soldier, and it really, really served me for that particular part of my life. And however, at some point, I began to realize the limitations because I was constantly resisting something with my discipline. So I'd be tired, and the most productive thing for me to do would be to just lay in bed and sleep and not go to the gym and not make videos and not even leave the house because I'm just so tired. I might as well lay on the bed. That's the harmony of the moment. That's what the body's telling me. That's what the wisdom of the moment is telling me. But then with my self-discipline, my willpower, I would get up and I would take a cold shower and I would make videos and I would go to the gym even though I'm dragging myself the whole way. Okay? And eventually you burn out from that type of lifestyle. Eventually you will burn out one way or another. So I begin to realize the limitations. I begin to realize I'm burning out. I begin to realize I'm getting sick a lot. I'm getting colds. I don't feel so good. And I begin to start to surrender to the moment more and more and listen to the moment more and more. So I begin to start taking more rest. I just hang out at home, and I would just be like, or you know what, I'm just gonna. I used to go like 5 or 6 times to the gym. I toned or six. I toned it down to 4, 3, and eventually 2. And I just kind of start to listen to the moment and listen to the harmony of it and sort of contemplate what's going on in the moment. Like, you're tired now, so why don't you rest? You're energetic now, so why don't you go to the gym? Why don't you? Oh, now you want to talk, so why don't you make videos instead of forcing it out of yourself? Like I had rituals that I would do, like I would go make tea and like tell myself that I'm gonna be successful, blah blah. But it was all resistance. It was all like I was always living in my mind, never in the here and the now. Always in there trying to do something with my head, with my will, with my discipline. And I started to see the limitations of that, and I began to loosen up and sort of surrender to the moment. Now, at this stage, I'm posting daily here, and there are no signs of burning out. In fact, it's kind of almost impossible for me to burn out making videos here, simply because this is a something that now I've learned how to tune into. I only make the videos when I'm in flow with like you know with the flow. I love how I'm saying with the flow and then the flow stops. That's like the irony of God, right? What I was saying is I make the videos when I feel like I am in the mood to talk about shit. So I can't possibly burn out because I just wait for the right time and I make the videos. And trust me, no matter how tired I am or no matter what, there usually is a time in the day where I want to talk, where I want to make videos. And if I just begin to listen and I just begin to flow with the moment, I don't need to discipline myself to do anything. I'm just carried out by the moment. I am carried out by what is. I am the way. I am the Tao. I am part of the Tao. I am in harmony always. But if I listen to the Tao, if I listen to the way, if I listen to the moment, and so there no longer is a battle in my head. You gonna make videos today? Are you gonna keep making videos daily? This, and that. It's like, no, I wanna do this. And I do it when I feel like I wanna do it. And that's why the videos turn out to be the way they turn out. Excellent videos. And so it's sort of the same with everything. Like, I stretch every day, but I don't have a routine. I don't have like, I'm gonna stretch at this time or that time. Because sometimes I don't wanna stretch. I wanna go walk. I wanna go on a bike ride. And if I put a certain time that this is the time I'm going to stretch, it doesn't work. But if I set the intention, I want to stretch every day, keep my body loose. I stretched at 3 a.m. last night. I woke up in the middle of the night and I stretched at 3 a.m. Random, 3 a.m. Because I felt it. It's like, oh, I want to stretch now. And what happens is because I'm in the mood to stretch, I end up really pushing the muscles. They're loose and nice and they really, really stretch well. Because I'm in the mood now for stretching. This is the most productive thing I could do in the moment. And so there no longer is a resistance in my head. There no longer is a battle. There no longer is a willer, a doer in my head, trying to do something, trying to force his will, trying to force his way, fight with the universe. That's a lost battle. You can't win this battle. The battle against, it's like you're fighting yourself. You're the universe. So you're fighting yourself. You can't win it. Forget about it. Forget about it. If you're going to fight the universe, you're going to be miserable. And I certainly was miserable when I was in those self-disciplined days, and I was getting sick quite a bit because I'd go overwork myself in the gym and then suddenly I wonder why. At the time I didn't know why. But my parasympathetic nervous system would break down, my nervous system would break down, and I would just get sick. I'd catch a cold and I get sick. And that's because I was overtraining myself in the gym. I was disciplining myself to go 6 times a week. All right, today I'm gonna do this. Today I'm gonna do that. Even though I'm sore today, but I'm gonna do this. I used to get sick a lot, and I used to blame it on there's too much sickness going on or something. But in truth, it was just my actions were not in harmony. They were not in accordance with the flow of the energy, the flow of the force, and I was really using my mind where my mind needed not be used. Your mind doesn't need to be used all that much. It really doesn't. It's more, you're more just, if you just empty it and then you just like be here, then you'll hear exactly what you need to hear and no more and no less. And it isn't often all that much that you need to hear. It's like sort of very specialized, direct messages that you need to hear. And you don't need to go into your head and try to force it and this and that. And oh my God, I'm going to fast for 10 days. You know, well, if you can't fast for 1 day, well, how do you expect to fast for 10 days? You know, because you go into your mind, you say, well, I'm strong enough, I could do it, I could. And you know what, you could, of course. We can push our limits here. We can push our endurance to unimaginable levels. Unimaginable levels. I know this because I used to do this all the time. I used to go at -10, -20, and be out in the cold and just push myself to stay in the cold for as long as I can. And I used to do these runs, and I used to do all these things. I did wrestling. I used to push myself like crazy with my discipline and my training. Of course, I injured myself all over the place because of that. Because I was like stubborn in here, like I'm strong, I can do this, I'll push myself. You end up burning out. You end up getting injured. That's how I like. Some athletes just burn out, and then they just get injured, and you never hear about them again. Their career is finished because of precisely that type of action, that type of mindset, the no pain, no gain mindset. So the way I prefer to do things now is to not resist anything, is to not resist my desires, not resist my urges, and just flow with them. And what happens when you surrender, in that type of surrender, is your desires and your bad habits begin to fall away on their own because you're no longer in a state of resistance. You're wiser now. You're not fighting anymore. And so, funny thing happens. Like you begin to say, well, okay, you know what? I'm not going to discipline myself for any diet. I'm not going to just, eat only fruits or only juice. I'm just going to do whatever. Oh, I want a Kit Kat. I'm going to go get a Kit Kat, a chunky bar. I feel like getting ice cream, I go get an ice cream. But what happens in this completely resistance in the here and the now state is, let's say you go and you get you want a Big Mac. I'm gonna go get a Big Mac. Go get a Big Mac. What's the big deal here? Oh well, I'm not supposed to eat meat, and it's evil and this and that, and everybody on YouTube has been telling me that, and I've been telling my friends I'm a vegan. How can I do it? But I really want a Big Mac. I really want a Big Mac. All right, go get a Big Mac. Surrender to the moment. Stop resisting. Now, what happens is this: because you surrender, you're no longer resisting. You're no longer fighting the universe. You're no longer fighting yourself. You get the Big Mac, but you're here and now. No resistance. I'm gonna enjoy this Big Mac. Bite into it. You eat it. Okay. Very nice. Tasty. You eat it some more. You're here in the now. No resistance. You're just in the moment. You're not in your head thinking, well, I'm gonna, right? And then what will happen in that case is because you're here, you'll eat the Big Mac, and because you're so relaxed, you'll be like, I don't feel so good. And then you start to get these nasty burps, and you feel thirsty because of all the salt and the spices. But you're here now, not resisting. Oh, I'm gonna drink water. Drink water. And then you're like, oh, I don't feel so good. Then you go to sleep. You can't sleep. And you got all these weird things going on in your stomach. Now, because you're here, no resistance, you're like, oh, okay. Do I really still want to eat Big Macs? I mean, I just ate it. I enjoyed it. But I mean, look at all these consequences. And you learn that way. You learn. And it may not be the last time you eat a Big Mac. Maybe a week later, oh, I kind of want a Big Mac. And you go do it again. Same thing. Again, you're wiser because you're here in the now. You're not resisting. And you're like, here we go again. I did it again. I ate the Big Mac. Okay. And I'm getting the same side effects, the same, unpleasant consequences. I'm feeling it. My sleep isn't so good, and I feel tired. What happened? But you're not like judging. You're just here. You're not resisting anything. This is what's happening. And then you do that, and then you're like, at some point, you're just, I don't want to eat a Big Mac anymore. And that's coming now from a place of deep inner experiential knowledge. An experiential, okay, I don't, and it's like the desire falls off. You don't have, it's like it just falls off. It's not there any longer. And that's because you surrendered into it. You didn't resist the desire. You didn't resist the urge. You went along with it. You went along with it. You see, you went along. All right, I have this. Okay, I'm gonna observe what happens here. And there are universal laws. You are breaking them by eating these foods that are disharmonious, but it's not bad. It's just an experience. And because you're no resisting, you're here now. You're observing. You're like, you do it a few times and like, I don't want a Big Mac anymore. But this time it's coming from you, from a deeper place. Like, I don't want it. It's not coming from your head. It's not coming from your head. It's coming from your soul, I suppose. Okay, you're not having to go into your head and well, you're not supposed to eat a Big Mac. It's like that thought is not there anymore. You're not supposed to eat a Big Mac. But the experiential knowledge of the unpleasant feelings as a result of eating a Big Mac linger with you. You experience them because you're here in the moment, and that on its own will get that desire for the Big Mac to fall away on its own. You see, and it's kind of like the same thing with fasting. Let's say, you know, like what you'll find is if you keep observing and just not resisting anything, you'll at some point be like, man, that's too much stuff here. And no matter what it is, fruits or anything, and then you're just like, I want to fast here. Like I don't want solid foods anymore, and that just happens spontaneously. You don't have to try it. You don't have to resist it, you know. So I'm no longer a fan of that model of disciplining oneself and resisting one's urges and desires. I say surrender to them. That's, again, it's my opinion. It's the way in which I currently, in the present moment, lead my daily life, and I'm pretty chilled. I pretty chilled. I'm not dogmatic about anything. It's I'm not dogmatic about anything, and so as a result, I'm open to experiencing life. I'm open to observing life, and then I'm open to making decisions based on my observations and my experiences as a result of doing whatever I'm doing. Experiencing whatever I'm experiencing, and I find it just such a relief, just such a nice way of flowing, just flowing from moment to moment, learning with each moment, learning with each experience, and not judging and not saying this is good, this is bad, I'm supposed to do this, I'm not supposed to do that, because I've been watching this YouTuber and they've been saying this, and that, and so I'm not supposed to do that. If I eat anything but fruits, I'm gonna burn in eternal hell. Or if I don't do this, or if I don't do that, or blah 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 blah, blah, right? So that's one way of doing things. Many ways of doing things. I still think that the self-discipline message and the using your will, again, desperate times call for desperate measures. You do, if you're at a certain point in your life, the last thing you want to hear is you don't need to be disciplined. Okay, but once you begin to familiarize yourself with the ways of the Tao, with how the force works, its mysterious ways, you realize that if you surrender and if you stop resisting and if you relax into the moment, that everything somehow just ends up working out. And actually, in such a paradoxical way, all your unuseful habits and unuseful cravings and desires begin to, not right away, but just steadily fall away on their own. Because the Tao is so wise and it wants the best for you. It wants the best for everyone, that if you surrender to it, it'll show you the way. It'll show you what's best for you, but this time without resisting. This time without any shoulds. I should do this, I should do that. Okay? So I don't know if I explained this as well as if the message got across as much as I wanted to get it across, but I feel like you might have gotten something out of this. So thank you to all the Patreons for your support, for your generous support. I love you guys. And make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm back on the gram. And I posted a video previously, but if you are not aware, I am back on the gram again. So for you guys who I was talking to and, messaging and stuff, having, regular direct messaging and stuff, this one's for you guys. I come back, to be in touch with you again. So follow the Instagram. It's going to be somewhere in the comments, or just look up Saeed Mobayed. You'll find it. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, join the family and support in any way possible. $2 a month. Get your credit card right now. Stop being lazy. Or just a one-time donation via PayPal. Thank you to all the people who donate via PayPal, by the way. You guys are just lovely people. Lovely people. God bless you. And until next time, may the force be with you.